Hi, this is Marlene, Astrologer Extraordinaire. Today's topic is going to be on who is your hidden enemy. Wouldn't we all like to know that? Because it's very helpful for the people around you, whether it could be your boss, it might be your sister, your brother, your uncle, could be a parent, could be maybe your, maybe your baseball coach, friends around you that you work with, business partners. So this is going to be really informative if you have those people's birthdays. And if you don't, you may want to think about trying to get their birthday, maybe in a slightly evocative way, not obvious, in other words. And there are ways of doing that. So I'm probably going to be looking out the window as I normally do. I'm not accustomed to looking at a camera, so eventually I might get over that. Anyhow, so the sign I'm going to start with is Aries. So if you're an Aries sun sign, now this also applies if you're Aries rising. So I'm going to use two different signages, excuse me, because there's actually, unless of course you're the same sun sign and you're the same rising sign, then only for those people that have the same sun sign and rising sign will that particular scenario apply. So let's say you're Aries sun and you're Cancer rising, for example. So who would your hidden enemy be around you? That would be a Pisces sun sign. Now, it can also be somebody that has Mars in Pisces, especially somebody that has the sun sign, and even more so, their Mars is in Pisces. Now, why would that be? Because your 12th house would be Pisces. That's the house of your spirituality. It's also the house of the subconscious mind, your past lives. It's also the sign of your hidden enemy. 7th house is your open enemy. 12th house is your hidden enemy. So you might want to start being aware of those people around you. Sorry about that. I get like that when I have to film. I don't know why that is. Eventually I'll get over that too. So anyhow, so if you don't know the birthdays of some of those key people around you, you might want to get those birthdays. So if you're an Aries, that'd be Pisces sun, or somebody that has Mars in Pisces. Now, that might be a little trickier to find, because in order to find out their Mars position, you're definitely going to have their exact birth date. In other words, the year they were born as well. So let's go around the horn. If you're a Taurus sun sign, your hidden enemy is going to be somebody who's Aries sun and or has Mars in Aries. Okay, now there's a little addendum I want to make to this. It doesn't always apply. However, it's a pretty high percentage. In my experience, it's only the people that are operating on a higher evolutionary track. In other words, you're people that are more spiritually awake, you're healers, you're people that are a little bit more aware. Maybe they're doing personal development, maybe they understand some things about behavior modification. Somebody like that might be a hypnotherapist, and certainly another astrologer. Not all astrologers. This is something that I learned myself over doing it for decades. So, it takes years and years, decades, thousands of hours to become aware of all of these little tiny nuances. But then once you are, it's really, really helpful for you to, pick out those people around you. And you might start noticing how, they might be like covertly building a little scenario behind the scenes against you, or they're not really working in your behalf for you to try to, make strides ahead, whether, you know, it's in your career or, so yeah, you want to start looking at those people around you. I'm going to have to pause here because I've got somebody trying to interrupt me. Excuse me. Okay, I apologize for that. I was getting distracted and I knew I just needed to stop because it was distracting me. So now let's go to the Cancer, okay? Because if you're Cancer rising, if you're an Aries, but if you're Cancer rising, then your hidden enemy is going to be somebody that's a Pisces sun and or has Mars in Pisces. It's also going to be somebody who has the sun in Gemini and or their Mars position is in Gemini, because that would be the sign just preceding your rising sign. So now that goes all the way around the horn. So if you're Gemini, your hidden enemy is going to be somebody who's a Taurus sun sign or has Mars in Taurus. If you're Cancer, your hidden enemy is going to be somebody who is a Gemini sun or has a Mars in Gemini. If you're Leo, your hidden enemy is going to be somebody who has a Mars in Cancer or a Cancer sun sign. If you're Virgo, your hidden enemy is going to be somebody who's Leo sun sign and or has a Mars in Leo. So I don't think that I need to delineate that all the way around the wheel. I think you get the gist of the point that I'm trying to make here. So once you find that out, you know, you have some options, because there's still those opportunities where, you know, I had this happen a number of years ago, that a friend of mine who was quite spiritual and loved to do a lot of sweat lodges, and that person's sun sign was behind my sun, and I was well aware of that at the time. And he did, you know, let's just say I did catch him in a little something that where he was trying to go against me on something. And so I called him out right away, and I just said, you know, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. So I would more appreciate it if you wanted to be straight up with me and just, you know, be straightforward, call it out, and let's have a conversation and communicate about it, rather than trying to do something covertly against me, because I will find out about it. So anyhow, that's a little bit about the hidden enemies, and I'm going to do a couple more videos more than likely today. I apologize for the delay and the gaps in the videos. I have been moving, so I'm trying to get settled in again. And I've moved a lot over the last 2 years, and I'm not somebody that moves a lot. The reason for that is I'm just going to be right out with it, because I had a pretty nasty situation in my life with a narcissist, somebody from my past about 4 years ago. So we're going to be talking about that sort of thing too. So I'm still trying to get settled in, and then I promise you my videos are going to be a lot more regular. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and if you have any comments, I'd be interested in hearing about those below. Or if you already happen to be aware of some of the sun signs, or probably less likely, you know, the Mars position of some of those people around you, then I'd definitely like to know about it. And maybe some other people would like to know about it too. Okay, thanks for checking in with me today, and I'll catch up with you real soon. Bye-bye.